Hey guys, Griffin Cooper here from Ablewaytech with a trading debrief from last week where we're getting to the end of our third cohort for our Applied Systems Development course and finishing up our Kata Challenge Workshop, which was 6 weeks. Really good stuff. And what we worked to is we took 3 patterns that we learned. We learned the SSC, then we learned the Collapsing Dragon, and then we learned the Kata 2. SSC is a long pattern. Collapsing Dragon is a shorts only pattern. Kata 2 goes both directions. And then what we started to do is combine these to arrive at a point where we can trade all 3 patterns combined, which is what this trade example shows. So we can get into it right now. What we had was on this blue vertical line is our open. So you can see from yesterday's PSAR flip to today, we had our harsh move down, a GC3 setup. We entered alternative entry when it broke above this little noise here and hit that third PSAR. It spent a little bit of time above our entry here, you can see. So we had about 3 or 4 closes here that were above our entry. So that's why I ratcheted my stop up. I was trying to scratch it as best I could. Ended up taking a minus 0.3 loss. The one thing I've been noticing is that when price makes that RL10 swing high like this and then takes off and crosses the dragon and it's already one risk box, this is kind of where I would want to get out anyway if it didn't work, if it continued up. So why not just enter here instead of waiting for that? And that would have been like a 1R improvement. I would have already been, in the money 1R. So that's something I'm looking at, maybe adding to my repertoire. But we got in here when price crossed this RL10 swing low. PSAR had flipped. Stop was probably about right here, MMRB. And it went nicely in our favor. And then we basically just waited for that PSAR flip, just strict Kata challenge rules. So when this PSAR flipped, we got out. One thing I did notice on this one, I took the SSC because we had this next harsh move down, right? So I was playing for a reversion to mean trade. So we got long here. I did notice on the PSAR flip, it immediately failed. I actually sometimes like to wait for a universal entry so that if this was the bar where the PSAR flipped, I'd want it to break above that high, because sometimes it does this, right? It flips and then it just goes totally in the opposite direction. So I don't know, maybe that one could have been avoided, something to think about more. But either way, we're always just, we have to take, we're kind of obligated to take this trade because it come back to here, it was just there. But really the trade we were on is this one, right? This collapsing dragon, Kata 2 short, when it breaks below this line. And I got that one nicely. And it really took off well in our favor. Let me move my face out of the way. And that one was, just a simple, looks like PSAR exit. This was another harsh move. So again, taking the SSC, got burned kind of the first 2 times on it. But part of the Kata challenge is we take every opportunity, when our edges present itself. So I'm obligated to take that again. This time, at least, it moved a little bit in my favor, enough that after all these bars above my entry, I just ratcheted my stop up to no lose plus dinner for 2, like that. Immediately hit my stop, and then took off again. But we have a way to get into that, right? Ken calls re-entry the key to sanity. So when this got stopped out, I basically just drew this line here when this RL10 had rolled over, and that was my re-entry point. Got back in here with the stop in the normal place, and then took off. And I really liked that trade because, when this one came back, I didn't know it wasn't going to come back to here. I didn't want to take an E to 1R loss after I've had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars close above my entry, and then let it come back over to here. No way. Not going to happen. So get a little piece of it and then be ready to re-enter. So then I can just stay in for this one. Looking back, it looks like I gave up too much on the end, but I was just following the workshop rules. So PSAR flip, exited, easy peasy. Still got 1 over 1 on it. And then here, because this was an interesting one, I call the penultimate PSAR. So usually what I teach for the Kata 2 is, if this is flipping down here, we just look at that very last PSAR to see if we're going short, if it's making a lower high, or if we're going long, if it's making a higher low. In this example, the last PSAR flip was here. So we had this one happening right here and then this one. So that's actually lower, but sometimes based on the overall price action of the day, because this was here, I call that the penultimate, right? So second to last PSAR flip was over here. That's higher, obviously, than this one. So to me, it's kind of zooming out and seeing this bigger movement that it could go like that. So I felt good taking that trade. It reversed right away, ended up being a 1-hour loss. And by that time, in Pacific time, this is the close, this blue vertical. So we were pretty close to the close by then. Not enough time. Time will pattern money. There wasn't any time left to trade. You'll also notice this is just a really good template for ways to mark up your charts. You'll see that on each chart each trade rather, I have a green dot for the longs and a red dot where that closes. For the shorts, I have a red dot where I opened the trade and a green dot where I closed it. I put a little box around where the trades took place to show, the duration where the different trades were easily. This yellow box here is our R10 value, which we use for our minimum manageable risk box. We have that calculated right here in our OWL bundle for think or swim. And then lastly, I marked down the type of pattern it was for this example. This was a Kata 2 short type 3 re-entry, and then the R result, and then put at the end with the symbol, the date, what patterns I was trading, combining all the patterns, what our net was for the day. And then I usually also will go in and afterwards when I mark up the charts, put some ideas in there in these orange boxes for future notes and improvements. So, and I want to thank the guys in our cohort. They really helped elevate my trading in these last 10 weeks as we've gone through the course. It really showed me some things. I learned some things, and it was just a really great, I think, experience for everyone. And I hope they got as much out of it as I did. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.